Just bought this lovely little moped. It's got an electrical issue, the lights don't seem to work, so I've started trying to figure out what the problem is and why it's not getting any power to the lights. The battery is also dead, and I've connected my makeshift charger to it, so hopefully the battery will come back to life. It was at 5 volts when I measured it, which is probably a bit too low to bring it back to life, but hopefully it comes back and then we can try and start the moped. Other than that, seems to be in pretty good condition. It's only about 2 years old, but it hasn't aged very well and it was kept outside, so don't know, let's see, maybe it's gonna start. So I've had this charging for about 20 minutes now. It went from 5 volts to 11.3. Not sure if this is going to be enough, but we'll give it a go and see if it wants to start, or at least if any of the lights work. Signals work. Can't seem to turn it off now. No, it did work. I can't actually start it because I disassembled everything. And it needs the brake on. Ah. Certainly tries. Maybe I'll need to leave it charging for longer. So I've checked the bulbs and they're all fine, and I've put them on a 12 volt source and they do turn on. The signals work, but for some reason I don't know if it's the switch that's the problem or if there's something else, but it just doesn't have any headlights or taillights. When I press the brake, taillight does come on, but there's no position light. So what I'm doing now, I'm just taking everything apart to see if I can find a broken wire or a blown fuse or something like that. So while the battery was charging, I kept taking things apart. I don't think I got any closer to the issue. All I found out that this seems to work. I couldn't take it apart completely, but the mechanism inside does work. And so I'll just try and give it another go, see if the battery charged up enough. Light comes on when I press the brake, but that's the only time it comes on. There's no position light. Nope, still no go. So we'll leave it on to charge for longer. Hopefully we can get the battery back to life. If not, then we'll just have to buy a new one. So after a lot of digging around and looking at wires, so I did quite a lot of continuity checks over here, and it seemed like I was getting continuity on pretty much everything. So I believe green should be the power. And I was getting continuity between green, blue, and white all the time. So I traced them back here, and I found this one to be bent. So that pin there, which is green, which should be power, was bent, and it was touching the white wire, and that was causing the issue. So it was shorting out and power never got to the light. So all I did was bend that one back into shape, and now we've got lights working correctly. So all I need to do is clear out all this mess, put it back together. I did take off quite a lot of things. So yeah, it's gonna take me a while now, but it starts, it drives, and it didn't cost us anything to fix it. So for the most part, the moped is all back together, apart from some fairings that I haven't yet put back, just because I just wanted to test drive it. But the battery seemed to charge up okay, so we've got about 12.5 volts now, and that seems to be enough to start the engine. So starts right up, no problem. The light now turns on. So that's just the position, and then you have high beam, low beam. Signals still work, both front and rear. And yeah, so unfortunately the guy who sold it just happened to find some very bad mechanics that didn't put the moped back together once they serviced it, and that's what caused him all the pain. But yeah, everything seems to be fine on it. It just took a bit of time. It was quite tricky figuring out the wiring harness, but not impossible. So there you go, fairly cheap, ready to go moped. So just came back from a very brief run with the moped. The engine is pretty warm right now, and I just checked the oil, and it seems to me that the engine is overfilled with oil. If you look at this, oil level should be there, and it's full up to this point. So this is highly overfilled with oil. No wonder the guy who sold it to me said the engine stopped and he had to take it to a mechanic and so on. And so I'm assuming it was serviced at some point, and whoever serviced it just put whatever amount of oil they wanted without actually checking. So I will have to change the oil on this. Looking down there, I'm not sure if it's clear on the camera, but I can just about see the oil. So they literally filled it, basically brimmed it, and so yeah, this is highly overfilled, and probably that's why it feels a bit slow and sluggish. So next job is gonna be to change the oil. So I'll see you guys in the next video.